Evening, everyone. It's 7:20, and this is Wednesday evening's closing comment. It is video number 764, and it was quite a day. So we started off with the sort of Chinese, we're going to outlaw Bitcoin, which turned into later in the day, well, we just don't want banks doing business in it, using it for international settlements, and, it was very muddy. In any event, we traded below 30,000 in the cash Bitcoin, and then turned around and rallied hard all day. Within the first hour or so after the market opened, we were already back to the 37,000, 38,000 area. And while there was a lot of surprise that it didn't hold 40 or 36, it was not a big surprise, I don't think, that it bounced so hard. This is down in the last couple of weeks from a high of just over 62,000. So cut in half is not something that a lot of people expected from Bitcoin, but it is something that has happened several times. So there you have it. Excuse me. Coinstar, which this morning when we were talking, which was trading around 220, 222, down about $16 or 6.7%, actually got down as low as 208 and then turned back up. And after trading 208, it managed to close 225.20. That was still down 14. Part of that, of course, is the issue that they also raised $1.25 billion. And there was also some bad news around for it and its customers in that their site was not fully functional during the day. So it was really quite a mess. I made the suggestion that we, people who don't own it, ought to be in both GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and ETHE, Ethereum's trust, also Grayscale. And we had people who put orders in at 29 for the Bitcoin and 24 for Ethereum. Unfortunately, Ethereum's low was 24.18, while the Grayscale Bitcoin opened 28.80, so we got filled pretty quickly there. The low there was 28, the high 33.84, and the close, the last right now is 32.54. So a nice little bit of a trade. That recommendation, by the way, was to split roughly 3% of your equity between those two, so that you had some diversification and that you had a very small position, but were still represented. Another one of the futures, which that genius, Bob Pisani, came on this morning and announced that commodities have topped out. It's over. Commodities are going down. Lumber is going down. Materials are going down. And I put out a message this morning, both on the pre-opening comment that I expected 1,200 to hold on the lumber. And in fact, the low of the day, the chart's right here on the screen, low of the day, 1201. High of the day, 1327, limit up. So we were right back down here in this little breakout breakout area. We came right back down to it and turned up now. I think that I said I thought that we could get back into the 1450 area. That's still what I think. I think it'll be difficult to get back through 1495, but when it comes to futures, you just never know. Remember, this is a zero-sum game. There's a buyer for every seller. And open interest has been flat the last couple of days, has been moving back up again on the way down, which means short positions. So if people get scared again, on the short side, we can easily see 1500. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so the low on the Dow was just below the 50-day moving average. And the market was down 596. At the end of the day, it closed down 164.62, just 0.5% after being down over 3 times that. Today's low was actually $75 in the Dow, lower than what we had last week before the rally on Thursday, Friday, and into Monday morning before we collapsed. The NASDAQ, which was also down triple digits, closed down $3.90. Almost closed up on the day. The net change of 390 was 3 basis points, 0.03%. The S&P also went down through the 50-day moving average and turned up. The difference here is that the S&P 500 actually made a higher low than it did last week. So Dow made a slightly lower low, S&P made a higher low. We had the Russell down 0.8%, $17.24, and the Dow Jones Transports down 80.33, or 0.5%. The big mover, besides Bitcoin today, and of course the lumber, was oil. There's talk that Iran is going to start to put their oil into the market. They are a serial cheater. And so oil finished down on the day 215. I think that a lot of what happened today was a combination of the issue with risk assets. Clearly, Bitcoin is an overwhelming risk asset. Oil, having come up from literally single digits to almost $70, is a risk asset. And I think that when you get these type of broad moves, people get very nervous and they start to look at some of these stocks as risk assets. Certainly any of the ones that sell for multiples of sales as opposed to actually having earnings. On the earnings front, we had Cisco with a beat, both top and bottom line, not by much, but a beat. And the stock had closed, this was after the close, stock had closed 52.46, down 47 cents, but continued lower. Traded all the way down to 48.86 and finished 49.30, down $3.64, or a shade under 7%. L Brands, same situation, beat top and bottom, only by a penny, I think, on the earnings, and about $100 million on revenues. Their guidance was a little stronger. The stock, which had closed at 67.31, down 218, traded down to 64.5, but then rallied back to 66.19. So it was really only down about $1. Even though the net change for the day all in was down 330, 218 of that happened before. The big home run was Target with monster numbers. The stock closed 219, up 12.58 or 6.1%. And we had Squarespace, SQSP. This was a new issue. It was not an. It was sort of an IPO, but they did not raise any money. It was a direct listing, and the pricing on it was 50. And unfortunately for it, or at least that's the way it looked, first thing this morning with the market down so hard, when it did open, it opened at 48.99. That made it the first direct listing to open below the reference point. Unfortunately, it could only make it back to 50.02, 2 cents above that reference point, and then collapsed during the day down to 42.82, closed 43.40, down 6.60. So even though there was no IPO price to measure, just the reference point, it was 13% lower, $6.60, 13% lower than its reference point. Tomorrow, we have another new issue, the first plant-based food issue, Oatly. Symbol for that on NASDAQ will be OTLY. They raised $1.4 billion in a traditional IPO. Their pricing came in at the top of the range. The range was 15 to 17. It is priced at 17. And also on the downside on news, IOVA. That's IOVADS. It is a T-cell based cancer immunotherapy company, and they had a submission to the FDA. The FDA needs more information. We're not pleased with it. The street was not pleased with it. This is a stock that has gone from, mid-single digits up to a high this year of 54.21. It closed yesterday 25.82, and today, after trading down to 15.88, closed 16.55, down 9.27 or 36%. Tomorrow being Thursday, it's claims day, so we have continuing and initial claims at 8:30. We also have Philly Fed at 8:30. At 10 o'clock, we have Conference Board LEI, leading economic indicators, and at 10:30, we have nat gas inventories. So we'll see how all of that shakes out. I, in fact, kind of like the nat gas, tried to buy some calls for next month on UNG, which is the nat gas ETF. We did not get filled. We'll see what that looks like first thing in the morning. Tonight, it's basically unchanged, as are a lot of the markets. The oil, which was down, as I said, $2.50, is down 9 cents. Nat gas, which was down on the day after breaking out. I'll give you a look at that. I'll show you why I like it. As you can see, it came right back down to the blue line, which is the 20-day moving average, something that it has done repeatedly, and then bounced back up off it. We're also into all of this support around $3. Today's low was $3.04. And tonight we are literally down 3/100 cents, so not much going on there. Bitcoin is down a little, I believe. Let's just take a quick look. Bitcoin down 1,390 back to 37,950, so around the 38,000 after, as I said, having a range today of 43.5 to 30,205. That's the futures. As I said, the cash was below 30,000. So this is a little bit of a pullback, nothing overwhelming. The dollar was up 46 cents today as the bonds were down 20, 30 seconds, or about 2/3 of a point. Tonight they're up 7/30 seconds, which is roughly a quarter of a point. The market is giving up a little bit of the gains. S&P futures down 1075, NASDAQ futures down 49, Dow futures down 88. So we'll have to see what we look like in the morning there. Gold is down 1270. It was actually up 13 and change today, while the silver was down. So that's it. And I'll be back first thing in the morning. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll be back with those claim numbers and the Philly Fed pre-open. Have a good evening.